as you said before, it's not really a side project. That's my other band, and these are the guys doing it.
What's the point?
But I've got a version of it with Rob singing on it somewhere. We'll see
Wow.
about that.
It's one of the finest you've ever
The
written.
really influential, life-changing albums. We know when that is, and I wasn't a part of that.
I have to ask this.
We'll let you know first. I promise you.
Please be careful, okay?
That's my focus really. After Priest and into the future, that's the sort of band that I want to be in, like them, because they set the stage for that kind of thing, and I just want to be like them.
Hello, you metal pilgrims, and a very special welcome to all the followers of our Defenders of the Faith series. For today, I have nobody else but Richie Faulkner on the show once again. Richie, thank you so much for finding time and joining me. How are you, man?
Metal Pilgrim, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm doing very well. Glad to be here. Thank you, man.
Yeah, man. It's a pleasure to have you on the show once again, and I hope everything is well. I see you're at home, right? And you're
Yes.
beautiful. Yeah, nice. And you have
Yep.
the little falcon, not the little, the big falcon attacking from behind you, almost.
Yeah. This is I don't know if you've seen this. Claudio Bergamin did this for me.
Nice.
I was going to do. I can't remember what I was going to do with it, but I asked him to do me one, and I framed it and put it on the wall. It was kind of cool.
This is freaking awesome. Well, Richie, I know you've been doing these for a couple of hours now, so I'm gonna jump right straight into the question part of our interview.
Yeah.
Obviously, the biggest news about Richie Faulkner and about Elegant Weapons these days is the sophomore release of your, well, I don't want to call it a side project, of your second band, of one of your bands, Elegant Weapons, which will be out in just a matter of weeks. So first of all, congrats on finishing up. I know you've been sitting on it for a while. We spoke what, like a year and a half ago. You've been already kind of itching to work on it
Yeah.
and release it. So congrats on letting it out in the world finally. And before we dive deeper into it, can you tell me a little bit about how this creative process, if at all, was different from working on the debut album for Elegant Weapons?
First of all, thank you, man. I know that it's been around for a while. I spoke to you, as you said. I think we were in Spain
Yeah, yeah.
somewhere, and I told you it was pretty much done. We have to obviously fit it around the schedules of other bands, naming no names, but we all know who they are. Um, but yeah, it was different. This one, like Firepower, we recorded it. We captured the drums playing together. So me, Davey, and Christopher
Hmm.
played together, recorded everything, but to capture the drums really. And when you're playing together, like with Firepower, you capture the spontaneity, and three musicians interacting, and you
Hmm.
you capture that kind of spontaneous performance, which I think's essential really to create the core of the recording. Christopher did a great job, and then we can build everything on that. So once we had the drums, we could then put the guitars on, put the bass on, put the vocals on. But so that was different from the first one.
Wow.
The first one we recorded everything separately. There's COVID lockdowns and all that sort of stuff. So this one we had a chance we could get together and do it like that. Ronnie also, me, Andy Sneap, who produced the record, we got together with Ronnie via Zoom, like we're doing now. Ronnie was in the studio, Andy was in his studio, and I was in my studio, and we did the sessions together. So we had the melodies and the lyrics, but we got together with Ronnie from the ground up. So Andy wanted to produce him a little bit more this time. So try a different microphone, try a different technique here, try different harmonies, or try a different vocal line, or change the words here, or whatever it might have been to get the best performance. So, and on the first one we didn't do that either. There was another singer that sang originally. We had the vocals, we gave them to Ronnie. Ronnie sang them pretty much like that. So
Hmm.
this is completely different. From the ground up, we got the best performance out of Ronnie and changed things where we needed to make the songs as effective and strong as they could be. So totally different. We recorded the drums together. We recorded Ronnie as we did. So that was all different. Bass and guitars were done separately, like they were before. But so we not only was the band members an evolution of the first one, but the way we recorded the songs an evolution as well. And we feel like the songs on the record are an evolution. They're a different side of the band. There's a couple of different types of song on this record than was on the first one. So we consider that an evolution. So that's why we thought the title Evolution was an appropriate one for this record.
Hmm. That's a really interesting thing, and I really love it. How, for those who, just in case if you guys missed it, the first studio album for Elegant Weapons was actually recorded with one set of musicians, and then you actually went on the road with another one, and that's the lineup that we see on the second album right now. So now it feels like more of a coherent unit, right? You actually feel more like a band, like a proper band, rather than a side project. Is that so, you think?
I think so. Yeah, I think again the first one with Scott, Travis, and Rex Brown.
Yeah.
It was still during the time of COVID, and we didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't know if it was going to be an album or a tour or what was going to happen. So we did it pretty much what we could do at the time. So we recorded the album when the lockdowns were lifted, and I wanted to take it on tour. Scott and Rex were doing other things, of course.
Mhm.
So I had to get new guys in the band. But to me, it wasn't like they were session guys doing a
Mhm.
live thing. They were in the band. As far as I was concerned, they were in the band now, moving forward. And you do live shows with a group of guys. The songs and the way you play become the band. You know what I mean? You become closer as musicians, as friends. You spend a lot of time together on the road. The band becomes a closer knit project. As I'm sure anyone will tell you. So moving forward, that's the band that's on the new record, and that'll be the band. Unless anyone leaves, that'll be the band that's on the next record as well. So in my mind, as you said before, it's not really a side project. It's not a. I don't know what anyone wants to call it, but that's my other band, and these are the guys doing it until they don't want to do it anymore. But that's the way I've always seen it. They're in the band, and we're the band.
And the other guys, did they contribute composing the songs at all, or it's fully your project, the same as the previous one?
At the moment, yeah, it's all me. It's all my compositions. The lyrics I don't write. I give
Hmm.
them to a friend of mine, Tommy Williams,
Hmm.
and he does most of the lyrics. But as far as the other guys, no, it's just the way it happened this time. I mean, they're perfectly free to
So
submit
it's not like
ideas.
you deliberately stop them from doing it, from contributing. It's just,
No,
yeah, okay.
not at all. No, it's just the way it happened. And as you know, this stuff was written before the first record came
It's
out.
true, it's true.
And it's just the way it works. I write in between tours with Priest, and it was done. The songs were there. Maybe the next one we can all. It can be another evolution. It can be
Mhm.
like you know what I mean. The next album can be like a re-evolution or whatever, another evolution where maybe we can all write together. Maybe that can be something different on the next one. But yeah, that's how it worked out on this one as well. Just me writing it.
Do you know what I like about it? I mean, it sounds very different from. I mean, you're composing it now together with Judas Priest, right? I mean, Judas Priest is your other band, the little band out there. But I mean, it sounds very different from Priest, right? It sounds a bit more
Mm.
hard rocky, possibly much more hard rocky than anything Judas Priest have done in a very long time, since possibly Point of Entry even. But
Mhm.
do you think that when writing, do you consciously avoid writing something that would fit? Well, for Judas Priest, or is it your secret longing of your inner child to express yourself in a different manner that just comes out naturally on Elegant Weapons?
Yeah, I think it comes out naturally, and some things come out, and they're obviously Priest stuff.
Hmm.
Some things comes out, and I think Weapons has its own identity as well. I think
Hmm.
if it was the same as Priest, it wouldn't have been worth doing.
What's the
So
point? Yeah.
exactly. So it had to have its own identity. So you can tell when it's a Priest riff, you can tell when it's an Elegant Weapons riff. So they go in different files. The ones that there is some overlap sometimes. There is
Hmm.
a common area, and ballads usually on this record is a ballad, and ballads can go either way. And we knew that the ballad. I don't write a lot of ballads. I kind of struggle with them, but we thought it showed another side to the band that we hadn't showed before. Hence the evolution title. But it's been around for a while as well. And the ballad "Come Back to Me"? I actually presented it to the Priest writing session for Invincible Shield. And for one, I've got a version of it with Rob singing on it somewhere. Yeah, yeah, but it's a totally different song. And what I was going to say was, it's been around for such a long time in lots of various stages, and
Hmm.
I could never find the right home for it in terms of a song. And with Priest, it was the same. So it was a different verse. It was a different. The chorus was the same, and I had Rob sing it. But it did. When you put an idea forward and it doesn't light up the room. Sometimes you put an idea into the room and everyone's it's great, and the room
Hmm.
lights up.
Hmm.
This one, for whatever reason, the room didn't light up. No one was really drawn to it. So we didn't pursue it. So I carried on working at it at home, and Invincible Shield came out, and we did the tours. Um, and I found some parts to go with the song, completed the song, and released it on the Weapons record. But it's funny how songs can be around for a long time, or parts of songs can be around for a long time, and they don't work. But as soon as you find that part that fits, the rest just falls into place, you know. But maybe one day I'll be able to find the version with Rob singing on it, and you know we'll be able to hear the difference between the two.
This is beautiful, and to be honest with you, "Come Back to Me" is possibly my favorite song on the album. I absolutely loved
Oh
it.
wow.
It's a beautiful ballad, and if you say that there is a version with Rob, I cannot even imagine how Rob would fit into this picture. But I would
Mhm.
love to hear it. I mean, if you find it, please send it to me. I promise to not post it anywhere. But
Okay, yeah, definitely.
it's a beautiful song, and I can't wait for the rest of the Elegant Weapons and Judas Priest fans to hear it because it's magnificent. Absolutely, it's one of the finest you've ever written, in my opinion.
Oh, thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. As I said, it's a different side to the band. You know, we hadn't had anything like that on the first album. We thought it was a different side to the band, and we felt it was appropriate to put on this record and show another side to the band moving forward. So that's why we did it.
Were there any other riffs that you brought into the Judas Priest camp that were kind of rejected or not enthusiastically received that you used here?
Um, I don't think so. There were ideas that we didn't use with Priest, but didn't use I didn't use them. This was just the only one. But I had this riff, as I saw the chorus to come back to me. I've had for maybe 15, 20 years, so it's
Mhm.
been around for quite a while. But with the Priest stuff, yeah, I don't think I didn't use anything that we didn't use with Priest on
Mhm.
this one, apart from the Come Back to Me one.
And you co-produced this album together with Andy Sneap. So, first of all, how was it seeing yourself in the role of producer? And how was it working with Andy outside of Judas Priest? Did he keep the same dynamic with him on Elegant Weapons?
Pretty much, yeah. We did it on the first album as well. Um, and he's obviously he's the producer in it. He puts it all together. Um, but I'm kind of involved on another level with him. He's the main man, obviously, you know.
Mhm.
But he appreciates the fact that and recognizes the fact that it's a different band. It's got a different sound. As you said, it's more hard rocky,
Mhm.
and he produces accordingly. He wanted to get better production of Ronnie.
Mhm.
Um, and then he'll kind of leave me to my own devices really when it comes to the guitars, and make suggestions here and there. But I mean, this was the fourth record that we've made together. Firepower, Invincible Shield, Horns for Halo, and this one.
Mhm.
Um, so it's kind of like it's an easy process these days. You know, we know what to expect from each other. He takes on a different role with Priest. Obviously, it's a different dynamic when he's producing Priest than this. This is a bit. This is me and him together. Whereas in Priest, it's him producing.
Mhm.
He's the boss. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, we get on well. We get some good tones out, and he respects the sound of the band is different to Priest and captures that beautifully.
And talking about you both actually in Judas Priest versus Elegant Weapons. I mean, the craziest thing, and we spoke about it even a year and a half ago when we saw each other in Spain, that your era of Judas Priest has actually already become the longest lasting lineup era this band has ever had. In its 50 plus year long career. Actually, as of right now, it is the longest one, right? There was never a lineup that lasted that long continuously. But still, I mean, a lot of people consider you and Andy the new guys on the block. And no matter what, playing in Judas Priest it means carrying one of the heaviest legacies in metal. So, do you feel like with Elegant Weapons, this is a space where that weight completely disappears? And when going out on the road with Elegant Weapons, you may allow yourself a little bit more than with Judas Priest.
Well, it's a chance for us to create our own journey, our own path. You know, like Priest did. Well, by the way, when you say that, this is the longest lineup. It's crazy to think that, but
That's
when
right.
we, you know, when we think of Priest, you know, we think of there's a time period that we think of as Priest.
Yeah.
You know, classic Priest. You know, from that album, I don't have to say them. We've all got our own ideas. From
Yeah.
that album to this album,
Yeah.
that was what we think of as Priest, the classic. lineups and the classic albums, we all know what they are. But for Elegant Weapons, it's a chance for us to kind of maybe do our version of that, build
Mhm.
something from nothing, start something that we create, um, and build our own thing, and as I said before, I've said to you before, take the DNA from these bands that we're in and we've played for years in, and when the day comes when they don't want to carry on or they can't carry on anymore, maybe we can move forward and take that DNA into the future, and make it our own. And that's all I can ask for, really. And getting to the second record is, we're past the first. I never wanted it to be a one record thing. I
Mhm.
never wanted it to be one of those. So second record, looking at tour dates, and then looking at the third record, moving on. That's my focus, really. After Priest and into the future, that's the sort of band that I want to be in, like them, because they set the stage for that kind of thing, and I just want to be like them, and create our own thing. And um, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in the future, and if we're allowed to, the fans kind of dictate that as well. You know, Priest, Maiden, all these bands that have been there for so long, the fans have put them there for that long. So if we're lucky enough to have that same kind of support, then we'll do it as long as we can. Maybe there'll be a third record, maybe a fourth, maybe not, but we'll try our hardest.
That's exactly what is needed. I mean, because you know me, I freaking love Judas Priest. I love Iron
Mhm.
Maiden. I love Black Sabbath and all the classic bands. But we need to keep, and we as metalheads around the world, right? We need to keep metal alive. And in order for us to do that, in addition to the legacy of the incredible bands that came before, right? We need to forge the legacy that will carry on the genre after
Mhm.
the metal gods will take some time to rest. Let's just call it like that.
Yeah,
Yeah. So.
yeah, I hear you. Yeah, absolutely.
And you started saying that you are planning to take this album on the road, right? Do you have any dates planned already? And is it set in stone?
Nothing's set in stone at the moment. No, we're out with Priest obviously this summer,
Yeah,
and then with Weapons we're looking at stuff after that. And as you can imagine, we've got to work around everyone's schedule. We're all doing other things.
with four
That's the
bands
hard.
that are
Yeah,
involved in this process, it's freaking insane.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing, really, is getting everyone together. But if we can do it ahead of time enough, where we can schedule stuff ahead of time, then it shouldn't be too bad. So we're looking at stuff later on in the year,
Mhm.
because we all live to play live. That's what we do it for. And when you play the songs live, they create a connection with the audience, and that's when the band really grows. When so we've all been there. We've seen a band for the first time at a festival or something. We haven't heard of them before, but then you see them for the first time, and then you create a relationship with them, and
Exactly.
that relationship lasts forever. So that's what it's about. So we're looking into doing stuff later on in the year after the Priest tour, and when we know, we'll let you know first. I promise you.
Awesome, awesome. I truly hope that you guys will be able to do it, and I truly hope that I'll be able to catch you guys live because I always say that heavy metal lives in sweaty clubs and on festivals and not online as much as I love doing this, but this is not
Absolutely.
really how it should be. But man, you brought it up, so sorry, man, about that, man. The Faithkeepers tour. I have to ask this because of how diehard the Metal Pilgrim fan base is of Judas Priest, right?
Yeah.
Can you share with us if it will concentrate on something specific? Will it be heavy on the Defenders of the Faith songs, and will you honor the Sad Wings of Destiny 50th anniversary or the Turbo 40th anniversary, which is coming up this year?
I think, from what I know at the moment, it's not going to be anything specific.
Mm.
I think it's going to cover all bases. The last tour we did, obviously, was the Invincible Shield tour, which ran into the Shield of Pain, which was very specific. It was
Yeah.
Painkiller, Invincible Shield. So now I think it might be a celebration of all things,
Hmm.
and we'll touch on those areas, Sad Wings and Turbo and things like that. But I think it's going to be more of as far as I know at the moment, it's going to be more of or less of a specific thing, more
Hmm.
about Priest as a whole. Because we've been so specific on the last couple of tours, it'll be nice to just be a bit more free flowing and, but as you said, we've got to touch on those things. Sad Wings is 50 years, man.
Yeah, 50 years
You know,
tomorrow. Tomorrow, when we
yeah,
speak tomorrow, 50 fucking years. It was 23rd, it was the UK date, but the worldwide is 26th.
yeah,
It's freaking
incredible, incredible. 50 years, half a century, they were making that stuff. And, so we've got to do Victim of Changes, we've got to do the Ripper. Andy wants to do Island of Domination, but we'll see
Wow.
about that.
And come on, Dreamer Deceiver and Deceiver have not been played live for like a pretty long time as well. I mean that has to
True.
be celebrated as well.
You know what it's like. You always got to find that balance between the deep cut
Yeah.
and then the deep cut that you don't want to lose the audience. You know what I mean?
That's the worst
Uh,
thing. Like I mean, if there will be like nerds like myself and people who
yeah,
watch this channel on the show, you gotta do all the deep cuts, and no one, people would still go crazy for Painkiller, but you know what I mean, right? But
yeah, yeah,
you have, the Priest family is gigantic, and you have the youngsters coming in. I mean, my daughters will hopefully attend the Faithkeepers tour for the first time
yeah.
ever. My
Brilliant,
eldest one is 8, and she's super
fantastic.
excited, and she has her favorite songs. And I'm sorry, those are not deep cuts. She wants to see here pain fucking killer.
That's the thing, isn't it? That's the thing. They span so many generations now. And there's a lot of bands like that. They're the same. It's their first pre-show.
Yeah.
And how can they, if they went to their first pre-show, 8 years old, and didn't hear another thing coming or breaking the law? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you've got to cater for everyone. So we're going to try and do our best to cater for everyone. So we'll see. It all changes. Though. We've got an idea, but when we get in rehearsals, that could all change. But I think that's what it's going to be.
But that's a torture. I cannot even imagine how it is like to create a set list for a band that's been around for more than 50 years. I mean, like seriously, it's
It's
insane.
pretty,
Yeah.
it's pretty nuts. Well, fortunately, the last couple of years we had an album tour,
Yeah,
so that's
that's
going to
that's a good
be
one.
it's going to be focused towards that. The other one was the Shield of Pain, so you know where your focus is going to be. Now, this point, there's no focus, so I think it's going to be a bit of everything. And then the next album, it might be focused towards that. So at least we know kind of where we're going to be. And what we're going to be, what we're not going to be, depending on what went before. So the other one was focused on Painkiller, Invincible Shield. So we don't have to do that much
Yeah.
again. So you know what I mean. So that's how we work it out. But
Yeah.
it is a challenge. So many songs.
Absolutely. I'm super excited to see you guys, and hopefully this time I will not miss this tour. And
Hopefully,
even more so, I truly hope that both Judas Priest and Elegant Weapons will give a show in Ukraine very, very soon, because that's what I really want.
that'd be killer. That'd be killer. It'd be great to do the same show. But I've asked that before if I could like open up on a festival and I got a one word answer. You
Really?
know. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I didn't. I'm only joking.
they want all
But
attention on you in Judas Priest.
well, it wasn't a one-word answer, but I can understand why. But I'd definitely be up for doing it. And Zakk Wylde, he's doing two of his bands every night. You know what I mean? He's
I
doing the
don't know how
Zakk
he
Sabbath
does
stuff.
it.
I think it's incredible. I mean, what a guy! I mean, no one's working as hard as he is. It's so incredible.
And I love how actually Zakk is a good example, right? And being in a legacy band and
Mm,
playing with Ozzy freaking Osbourne for so long and being known as an Ozzy Osbourne guitarist, he was able to build a legacy for himself with
mhm.
with his band, which is actually right here. I mean, you can see the Black Label Society poster
Yes.
together with Judas Priest
Yep.
right there. So yeah, hopefully Elegant Weapons will be able to grow to at least the same heights, but hopefully even better. Yeah.
Hopefully, we just won the chance. And as I said before, we're at the second record. I mean, I didn't even know if it was going to be the first record. So the second one is a great milestone. We'll see if we can get it, as I said, to the third or fourth or fifth album. We'll see.
Man, a couple of years ago, you scared us quite a lot. And recently, you revealed that your health issues, so they are still actually continued even after that episode. You just kind of kept it under the rug for your fans, which is,
Mm.
I mean, it's an honorable thing. But now, especially having the family, have you actually considered slowing down? Because it looks like you actually doubled down on your touring life with with two bands in place right now.
Well, I think if I stopped, it would have a detrimental effect. I think
Mhm.
keeping going. I have like a regimen that I have to do throughout the week and when we're on tour and stuff to keep it maintained and keep it going. So if I stopped doing that, I think that would be. I don't think I could slow down. You know what I mean? When you don't work a muscle for a while, you
Yeah.
kind of lose it. I think it will be a case of that. So I have to keep it at some kind of level. I think to
Mhm.
stay at a level. So yeah, I mean, I don't think so. I don't think so. When we're off the road, I have to play, I have to do exercises, I have to do coordination stuff just to keep it at a level. So when we go out again, I can maintain, Um, so at this point, I don't really think I can slow down. Unless if I did, I think it would be a real challenge starting everything up again
Mhm.
and getting out on tour. So, but I'm kind of, I'll say young enough to be able to do it and stay on top of it and do the exercises and do the regimen and and Priest is still out. We're still doing enough shows where we can be out enough.
Mhm.
We take a physio. I don't know if he was there when you were there. We take a physio out with us on the road, so I do it 3 times a day.
Mhm.
Um, so if they stopped touring and we weren't doing as much, I'd maybe have to do more with weapons, or something like that to keep. Or if I stopped, it maybe wouldn't be. I wouldn't be able to stop because it would shut down maybe. But I hope, luckily I haven't got there yet.
Wow, so this is the case of when music saves and metal saves actually, right? Because you kind of have to keep going. Uh,
Yeah.
Man, I respect and I appreciate the shit out of it, but please be careful, okay?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Well, again, I'm lucky that I'm able to do it. I can, I can still play, I can still tour. It takes a lot more work for me to do now. I have to put
Yeah.
a lot more into it. But there's people out there, man. I'm a lot more fortunate than a lot of people. They're going through a lot more difficult stuff,
Yeah,
you know. So I'm grateful, really, to be lucky enough to still be able to do what I do. If you know what I'm trying to
absolutely.
say.
But talking about this, right? You have people to look up to who are actually going on the road together with you. Rob Halford was 74 now. Ian Hill is
Mm.
74 as well. So yeah, and
Yeah.
and those guys are still going and still strong. And please tell me you're not looking to slow down, right? I mean, Judas Priest are not eyeing to slow down anytime soon. I hope so.
I don't think so. We're looking at plans for next year, and
Hmm.
we just tracked the the basis of the next record. We
Hmm.
tracked last month out here in the States. Um, so we're moving on. We're moving forward. We're making plans for a new record, and obviously we usually tour that and stuff. So we're looking at plans into the future. So yeah, all looking good. I'm 15 years with the band after the farewell tour, and we're still doing new music and still touring. So everything's good, man.
This is awesome. And that one you are eyeing to release in 2027, 2028, I assume?
27, I think. At the moment, it's
27.
27.
Wow,
Yeah, yeah,
that's freaking awesome.
yeah,
Hopefully, we'll be able to hear it soon.
yeah, man. I hope so.
Yeah,
At,
and
at the moment, that's the plan. So we'll see if the plan changes or not. Yeah, yeah.
man, and to close this episode, I gotta ask another question regarding the recent documentary that has been released, the Ballad of Judas Priest, which I still was not able. I was going to go to Berlin to witness it, but unfortunately, due to work stuff, I couldn't do it. I'm super excited to see it. So, were you slightly worried about how your era of Judas Priest will be portrayed in this film or not? Or were you just happy to be a part of this incredible legacy at that point?
Well, yeah, of course, I was happy to be a part of it. And I actually said on the screening when we first saw it, I actually said there's too much of me in it. There wasn't a lot anyway, which I don't think there should be. I mean, the story of Priest, as we talked about earlier on, we all know what that story is, or what when that time period is. Um, the really influential, life-changing albums. We know when that is, and I wasn't a part of that, so I'm not in any of that. But I'm kind of at the end. I'm in it for a short amount of time. But I remember saying, I don't. It doesn't need to be that much of me in it, but they thought otherwise. But I'm not in it for very long. But I think it's appropriate for the amount of time that I've been in the band. Say a couple of bits at the end. Andy says a couple of bits. Scott's in it as well.
Mhm.
But the main part is who needs to be in it is the guys that created that legend and created that story. And it's a great thing. It's funny. It's it's all the emotions, you know what I mean? It starts off with Jack Black and he's narrating another thing coming lyrics, and it's like the way only Jack Black can do it. It's fantastic, and it goes back to there's a working man's club near where Ian lives,
Mhm.
where they played their first show.
Yeah.
And Ian's there talking about it, and you can see the stage and stuff. It's really cool, really well done. Tom Morello's great. Sam Dunn He's well known for doing stuff with banger films, Flight 666 and the Rush thing, and he's great at that. So it's really well done. It's funny and it's heartwarming, and there's all the stuff that we expect to come from a Priest documentary. So yeah, it's a really good thing. So when it gets picked up and it comes out, you should definitely check it out. You'll love it.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. Overall, this year looks freaking incredible for you and for all the fans of Richie Faulkner. April 24th, the release of Elegant Weapons' second studio album, the Ballad of Judas Priest, the Faithkeepers tour, and hopefully the Elegant Weapons tour. And I truly hope that I'll be able to catch it all. Man, thank you so much for finding time and joining me. Any last message for your fans all across the world?
Well, thanks for the support so far for Elegant Weapons, and obviously with Priest. And yeah, we'll see you all very soon on a tour of some sort very soon.
Yeah, absolutely. This was Richie Faulkner of Elegant Weapons and Judas Priest, and the Elegant Weapons second studio album will be out on April 24th. Definitely do not miss it, which I'm sure if you watch this far into the interview, you'll not miss it. Richie, thank you so much for finding time and joining me. Keep rocking, man.
Thank you, brother. Take care, man. See you soon.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Bye, mate. Bye,
Bye-bye.
bye.